Many of us talk about the powerful habits we need to build, the ones that are going to change our lives. But we often don't talk about the bad habits that we have, and ones that we most commonly use to get us out of doing the things that actually matter. So how do we get rid of these bad habits? And how do we start moving forward to creating the better ones that are going to make sustainable and successful futures? Bad habits are formed easier than those which are good. Mostly because our default settings now are Netflix, YouTube, social media, and more. All things that can be beneficial when in the right setting. However, most of us don't use it this way. And that's the problem we are facing in today's world. What's going on, everyone? My name is Andy, and I appreciate you taking some time to come and watch this video on the channel dedicated to helping you become the best version of yourself, as I do the same, taking ourselves outside our comfort zone and pushing to new heights. If you'd like a free audiobook and ebook on why your mindset stops your success, a 5-chapter ebook and audiobook allowing you to understand your mindset more and how to actually push forward, click the link down in the description and sign up. We have around 126 people signed up at the moment, getting the weekly emails on how to push forward. You'll get news on all the new things that are coming out and everything that we're working on. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to grab that for yourself. As I said, we have so many good habits that we want to build, but that just means we probably have equal amount of bad habits that we do subconsciously and things that are just in our default settings that we need to start getting rid of. We're going to be covering 4 bad habits that most of us have. We're going to be talking about what they are, why it will benefit you to get rid of them, and then how to get rid of each of them. This is not a one-day process. You're not going to do something one day and then never do it again. Now, for some things, this can be the case, but I just want to tell you this right now. This is a process just like building a good habit. You need to get rid of the habit, which will take a while to do. It takes consistent effort to do so, just to let you know. First one, and the biggest one that so many of us suffer from, is using our phone when we go to sleep and having it in our bed for when we wake up. And also, as a bonus, having it right beside us when we are working. So get that to thought, oh, that nearly missed the bed. That was close. In the past, I would always have my phone when I was going to sleep. I'd listen to music or I'd listen to a Netflix show or anything like that. And when I woke up in the morning, my phone would be there right beside me. It's the first thing I would pick up and I would go into social media. Sound like something you do as well? I would therefore wake up in the morning and spend those mornings watching random things on YouTube, on Netflix, or just scrolling on social media for no real reason other than just comfort of being in my bed in the morning. Now, I done a sort of audit of everything that I was doing and tried to consciously be aware about all of the things that were unproductive that I was doing in my life. And this was a lot harder than I thought, but I'm hoping that these 4 today can help you learn a little bit more about it. We all sort of know the negatives of having our phone in our bed. We've saw the studies on the blue light, having it at night just before, and I still use my phone just before I'm going to bed. I still do that. I need to sort of get rid of that, but I have started doing some other things in regards to the morning. Now, why would anyone want to do this? Why should you who's watching this video say, you know what, I'm going to follow this. I'm not going to have my phone in my bed when I'm going to sleep, so it's right beside me when I'm waking up. Now, the first one is that it's a more productive day. When you don't have your phone in your bed, you have to get up to go and get your phone. And there's some things that you can actually do to make sure that you don't just go and grab your phone and then go back into your bed and then scroll on social media. You're also going to feel more fulfilled and probably miss a lot of negativity that happens on social media, especially when you get up to just scroll and see negativity upon negativity upon negativity. Dr. Nicole's Benders-Hadi actually came up quite a lot in this sort of research that I was doing in regards to your phone. 2 of the points that were brought up as the main ones were that you were unable to prioritize tasks as well when using your phone in the morning, and also you would feel a lot more stress and being overwhelmed when using your phone, especially on social media, as soon as you get up. We can all see this from experience. We know this is the case. I know for so many days I would wake up, I would check my social media, and I would just see a bunch of crap that made me feel bad. So when I did get up, I was then fighting to try to make my day good, something that I don't want to do, and who else wants to start their day on that way? How do we get rid of this habit then? What are some of the things that we can do to eliminate or slowly move past this area of using our phone in the morning as soon as we get up? First one is obvious. Put your phone out of your bed just before you go to sleep. I put mine on the desk just behind me here, and it's right next to my alarm, so that when I get up and I have the alarm, it's there if I need it. I usually listen to music when I'm doing my morning routine. I usually listen to podcasts when I'm going down to get my breakfast, so I do use my phone, just not for unproductive things. The second thing I done was actually purchase a Kindle, and this allowed me to listen to my books when I'm going to sleep. Made sure that if I was really having a bad day and I didn't get up, which we all have at some points, then my Kindle would be there. Therefore, I can educate myself or listen to books when I'm in my bed rather than scrolling on social media that's really not going to do anything for me. And the final one you can do is actually use Flora app. I believe it's Flora. It's basically you can set your phone at a timer that allows you to not go on any other apps, else the tree stops growing. And there's some incentives that you can actually do there by giving to charity if you're not able to do it. This is in regards to the pain points that people have when not doing a task, and you need to be committed to do something like that. But it's another option for you to have. Place it in the morning as a timer that you cannot use your phone so that the morning is focused on you and not on social media and being overwhelmed right from the start. This, of course, is the first one because it's the hardest one. Many of us live on our phones, and it's very difficult to just snap out of that because the more you have used it for a certain number of years, the harder it is to rewire your brain to understand that it's okay to not be on social media all the time. But it's a step-by-step process. If you take it one day at a time and try it a few days out of the week, you might see the positive benefits and how important this can really be for you. The second one we're going to talk about today is not having a morning routine. Now, this is a habit that I thought was worthless in the past. I really did. I didn't see the point of it because you would see these morning routines on YouTube and it would be the millionaire mindset and the millionaire morning routines. And it was just a bunch of things that you couldn't even do on a regular day, never mind in the morning. That got me pretty overwhelmed and something I just did not end up doing for a long time until I read the Miracle Morning and some other studies related to your morning routine. I know I've talked about the Miracle Morning quite a lot. There's good reason for it, and you can check out some of these videos that I have done in the past and some of the lessons that I've learned from it to help you push yourself forward in regards to this. Over the last 4 months, I've been building a better foundation when it comes to my Miracle Morning and my mornings in general. I've been trial testing and seeing what works for me personally to then actually make my day as productive and as positive as it possibly can. People don't realize that we actually have a choice to make our day go in a certain way. And when we give all our time to other people, when we give all of our energy to others and not ourselves, this is when it can be drained. This is when we lead to blaming things on others. This is when we lead to doing nothing in our day. And this is when we lead us down the path of nothing really. Morning routines are essential because you're making the morning about yourself, not about anyone else. What we often do is we get up just before we need to go somewhere and then give our time to someone else. For example, getting up for school, getting up for university, getting up for work. All three things you're doing for someone else and not actually you. I follow my own worked process that took me quite a few times to delegate, sure it was right for me. And if you'd like to see that step by step, you can click on this video up in the cards. It will be on the screen, it will be down below as well. I would highly recommend it. This is just to give you an insight of what your morning can look like. And I spend between 7 and 40 minutes, depending on what I need to do that day, on this. It does not take long, but it's setting you on a step path to where you want to go. Why would someone want to do this then? Why does someone need a morning routine? Well, for one, you're not going to feel as rushed in the morning. You're actually going to have the time to breathe. Something I never used to have, and I would get up and I'd have to do something right away and then I'd be stressed and I might not do it that well because I've just got up, and it's brutal. It is brutal, and we know that feeling. We don't want that anymore. So this is for someone who doesn't want to feel as rushed in the morning anymore. You have a sense of accomplishment as well. You feel like you've done something. And I know some people don't like the things of like the 5 AM club and the 6 AM club, thinking they're better than everyone else. I get that, but for me personally, when I do get up at 6 AM, when I do wake up and I get my morning routine done, I feel accomplished within myself. I'm not comparing myself to other people. I don't give a fuck what other people are doing. But for me personally, that's a massive change that I didn't have in the past. And this has allowed me to feel a lot more accomplished, not only in my life, but just in general in my confidence. The list really is endless here. And I have 7 or 8 points, but I realized after my second point, I was rambling on quite a lot. It's really, really important. And if you can start working on your morning routine, it can be beneficial. How do we actually go about doing that then? First, watch the video in the cards. I'm telling you, after this video is over, go and check out that video and see my morning routine. I give some tips in there that have helped me really hone in on what my perfect one is. And second, try to choose 1 or 2 things, very simple things that you want to do in the morning that's going to make your day better. For example, if you really enjoy the silence in the morning, try meditation. If you really enjoy writing down how you're going to make the day great, you could do journaling. Maybe if you're more of a spiritual person, you could pray in the morning and spend some time doing that. There's so many things that you can do that are going to build you up to the best person that you can be. And if you start small and you start simple, you're going to see the benefits quickly. Getting that morning routine and also an evening routine, which we haven't covered in this video, are 2 essentials. The third one we're going to talk about today is daily progression on your something. Daily progression on pushing yourself forward. Many of us get into the habit of using motivation as a tool to work hard. Once my motivation arrives, then I'll do the work. Once my motivation is here, once I build some of that up, then I'm going to work on this project. All built. The issue is we can never call upon motivation to just arrive. It happens over time, and it's actually been found that action creates the motivation. So the more you take action and the more you realize new things, the more you work on something, the more you get better at it, the more motivation you're going to get. Instead of what we often tend to do is wait on motivation arising, then taking action and nothing really happening in between. This habit can be one of the most destructive because it's very challenging to get into a rhythm at the get-go. Sometimes you don't have all the motivation in the world to do something that's important, maybe like writing an essay for university, but those small incremental actions are actually going to get you way further than you think. However, if we learn to build a priority list, a structure with what we want to do, we can overcome the challenge of daily progression because we understand what our priorities are, what is actually going to take us to who we want to be, and actually move forward with our goals that are meaningful, rather than writing down something like reply to an email that really isn't that important. Something I've done a lot in the past. Why would someone want to do this one then? Why would you want to make daily progression? Well, first, the obvious one. You're going to see success in your life, whether that be in your relationships, your health, your well-being, just anything. If you work daily on something, you're going to see change, especially when it's prioritized. And the second and biggest one is that you're actually going to start working towards the person you want to be. Everyone wants to be great in some sense of the fashion. Everyone has passions, everyone has goals for themselves, and through daily progression, you're going to get closer to that. Yes, you're going to mess up in the way, and there's going to be some things that you fail at, and that's okay. But if we're actually just taking those steps, we're getting higher up that mountain. I love this mountain analogy, don't I? I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm sticking with it because now you know what it is. But if we make that daily progression and we're climbing up that mountain, we're getting somewhere. That's better than nowhere, right? How do you go about doing this then? I've got two essential tips here. The first one we talked about, prioritize your tasks. Write 50 tasks for the day that you need to do if you want, but narrow it down to your top three. 3 tasks are actually going to take you in the right direction. Choose the 3 that are the most important and that are actually going to do something in your life. Going to the shops to get some sweets for later on when you're watching a movie isn't essential, and it's going to take up energy that you could be using for something that's actually going to get you forward. You can go to the shops anytime. Focus on what matters first. The second one is time blocking this section. Once you have your priorities, you have those 3 tasks, time block them in. Get to know when you have the free time where there's going to be no distractions, it's just you and your work, and you can dedicate that time for that. Usually in the morning after I've done my sort of morning routine and it gets to about 7:30, after I've got my breakfast as well, I'll spend time focusing on the most important thing. Now for me at the moment, it has been university essays, which granted, it's not been the most fun, and I'm really looking forward to doing client work in that time frame so that I can heavily focus all the high energy that I have in the morning onto my clients. But when we make those priorities, we blank out all the distractions, we actually get shit done. I've got 2 essays done for university a month before they're due. I have never done that in my life. I swear to you, essays were the last minute thing, and we all know we do that. I've never been able to do this before, and this is thanks to things like this and removing bad habits from my routine. Okay, the final aspect that we're going to talk about today is getting too comfortable. We've all sort of done this before. You know, you accept the way your life is at the moment and you're just like, yeah, that's fine, let it go. In certain circumstances, this can work great. You know, things are flowing well, things are on sort of autopilot, and that's fine, that's fantastic. But when it comes to your growth as a person, learning and developing yourself, you don't want to get too comfortable, because when you get too comfortable, you let some things slip. And I have done this far too many times to count. We can always learn to become better. There's always something new out there that we can take. There's always a person that we can talk to develop our knowledge further, become more understanding, become someone who's able to see different situations and understand them better. There's so much we can do, but when we get too comfortable and then do nothing, we just allow those cracks to slip and we end up stagnated for very long periods of time. Why should we do this then? Why should we not become too comfortable? Some of the benefits of this alone are massive boosts in confidence in your work, not being afraid of pushing your comfort zone, and you'll always be able to overcome anything that's actually thrown at you. It's difficult to understand at the start because when I first started trying to push my comfort zone, I was just uncomfortable all the time. And it wasn't that fun until I realized why I was actually doing this. The lessons I was learning from pushing that and the person I was becoming by doing so. I was no longer afraid to do the things that terrified me in the past, and I was no longer to take jumps into my business that I would have never have done when I'd first started, all because I kept pushing. This is probably going to be the hardest one to do, and if you're questioning now, how do we actually go about doing this? It's to seek discomfort. Join a business networking group. Go to an online event and maybe an in-person event when you can, or for those who can already, go to one of those. Talk to someone you haven't talked to or someone you admire and message them asking them a really specific question about their work that you've always wanted answered. Email your friends and family about what you can do to improve as a person. Something I done and I hope you've done too if you've watched that video, but if you've not, click the cards and yep, there. The fact is there's endless ways to make ourselves better. There's endless ways and endless possibilities that we have to become a better version of ourselves, and we don't do it enough. Start looking to push your comfort zone and don't become too comfortable in your life because you know you can develop yourself further. It's essential for our growth. I know this video targeted a lot of the negative points when it comes to habit building and something we actually need to pay more attention to. But if you start to consciously see some of the negative things that you're doing, you'll realize quickly how you can actually get rid of them by supplying a good habit in its way instead. Good habits are formed through repetition, just like bad habits are sort of let go through the repetition of actively not doing it. It takes time and it takes effort to do. It's probably one of the most beneficial habits that you can build, to become more consciously aware and to let go of some of the things that are holding you back. If you'd like to get the free audiobook and ebook on why your mindset stops your success and join the family, the link is in the description, and I'd like to thank all of the patrons who continue to support me in creating these videos. I know whatever video is on the screen right now, you will love, and have a fantastic day.